to another episode of Man Club. Today we're taking on part 2 of a 3-part series in installing the HFP underbody spoiler kit. Today we're taking it up a notch in the difficulty. Yesterday we did the side skirts. Today we're doing the rear. So the rear takes a little bit more finesse. You actually have to pull the bumper off. You've got to do some cutting. Fun stuff. Man, I don't even know what to do. I'm so excited. Let's get going. Okay, tool list for today is safety first. So we got gloves, safety glasses. We wound up using a Dremel as our cutting tool. So we got a Dremel with a cutting bit. We got a file, needle nose pliers, a ratchet with a 10 mil an extension, isopropyl alcohol with clean wipes, utility knife, pliers, 10 mil wrench. We got a little pick tool, variety of short screwdrivers, the roller for the adhesive. I used some sandpaper. This is sandpaper that's kind of put on a sponge material, and a razor blade with a yellow pencil, some scotch tape, a drill. You can use any kind of drill you got. This kind I like because it's nice and light. A little push pin right there for center punch, and then the 3 drill bits. So before we start, we put it up on jacks, jack stands. We've washed and waxed the entire area, so this bumper is about as clean as it's gonna get. And then basically we're gonna take and do like we did on the first episode, where we're gonna wipe this down with rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, just where this thing is gonna attach, and get it nice and clean. And then we're gonna pop it off. There's screws here under these 2 covers. There's 3 on each wheel well, and then there's 2 clips underneath, and that should just get the whole bumper to come right off. So we've got our alcohol here and a lint-free clean wipe. Basically we're going to take it from in between, probably about right here in the middle of the bumper, and just clean this entire strip all the way around on either side. And because I think that's the only place the adhesive is going to stick. And below that it's just going to clip in with clips and stuff. So we'll just wipe this down real quick. Okay, now that we got it all wiped down, I'm going to start from the bottom and work our way up. And underneath here is the tow hitch on either side. There's 1 body clip each for a total of 2. Let's pop those out. For this step I recommend eye protection, because check this out. You get stuff that just sticks up there, and you don't want that falling in your eyes, so cover them up. Okay, next, on either side of the rear wheel well, there's 1, 2, 3 screws that we need to remove. For that, I'm just going to use the little stubby. And then on either side, there's a little cover here. I just have a little pick thing. You can use a flat tip, whatever, and that exposes a 10 mil that will pull out with a ratchet. Probably need a little extension to get in there. Next, before we drop this thing, we'll sweep out all the crap that fell out from underneath it, and we'll lay down a blanket here and pull this thing off and set it on the ground. Okay, we really don't have anything holding it in but the clips, so there's a whole bunch of clips right underneath here. I'm just going to pull this, just kind of grab it and pull it out, and we'll follow that around, do this on the other side, and then all that's holding it in is tucked in the middle, and we'll jimmy it out. Okay, sorry I couldn't film that, but I had only 1 set of hands, so there's a couple more clips here on this side and also on the other side, and just kind of work it loose till the center and hold it. And once you get all that done, the last thing you got to do is just disconnect the connection for the license plate light. And you can see, although I diligently cleaned my car, underneath it all there's a bunch more of that gravel and a sturdy styrofoam bumper. Wow, man! Okay, here we are on the rear. If you're facing it, this is the rear, I guess, driver's side. If you have an i4, you'll have a cover here. You'll need to go ahead and remove the cover. And I'm going to wipe this down. It's going to be real hard to see with this camera, but there's an outline right here that comes around and goes down. And we're going to have to actually cut the original bumper out, and this whole area is going to be removed. Okay, after I've wiped it down, I cleaned it all up, and I took a I have a yellow pencil, and you'll see the line. You can't really miss it. And I just highlighted it all the way around so you can kind of see the curvature. This is what we need to cut out. There's one on the other side exactly like it. The yellow line is not only for y'all to see that with the camera, but it's also going to be a lot easier to track the saw blade when I'm cutting, rather than it being just black on black. So do yourself a favor, maybe pick one of these up, or a little paint pen or something that you can see. Okay, so we have our line all marked off, and what we need to do, first of all, make sure you wear some eye protection. We basically took Jorge's idea, instead of using a jigsaw, because I do have a jigsaw, but it seems a bit clunky and giant for this job. So you get a lot more precision with this guy. So I just put a little cutting wheel on here, and we're just going to go around as we see fit with the angles and try to cut this all off. The one thing you have to worry about with using this is it does heat up the plastic with friction, so try to keep it pulled apart as you go. Otherwise, it'll basically melt back together. So let's give it a shot. Okay, as you can see, we got it all cut out here. Not the prettiest thing in the world. The weakness of the Dremel is A, it throws molten hot freaking plastic all over the place. So definitely wear your eye protection. And B, it's hard to make these curves. I don't know if you saw, but I broke a blade trying to make a turn. So just kind of tap it and move around, and eventually it'll work through. Now we're just going to file off all these little burrs. You see that, folks? That is the point of no return. So we got our file here. Let's go around the edges, knock down these burrs, and repeat it on the other side. Well, the file did somewhat of good. I just knocked down the big stuff, but then what I wound up doing is just getting some of this. This is like flexible. This is like 120 sandpaper. Just being careful not to get anything on the front edge. If you're really paranoid, you can put tape down and just kind of rocking it through here, rocking and rolling, knocking down all the burrs. And how do you know when you don't have any burrs and you can rub your rubber gloves like that? It's not pinching on anything, it's not snagging on anything, it's not breaking the rubber. So I think that's good. So we'll just do that on the other side too. Okay, so we flipped the bumper back right side up. So this is your license plate. This is going up. We're coming in to the top here, and we'll see. I don't know if you can really see that, but there's one, there's two, there's three, and then there's four little circles. We're just going to take a push pin and put a hole right in the middle of it, so our it's kind of like get our pilot hole lined up right for the drill bit. Okay, we'll take a 1/8 drill bit. It's 3 millimeter in the directions, but as close as we can find. You basically just find your little pinhole and you do a center pilot. We'll do that for all the four on the top. After we've completed drilling the 3 millimeter or 1/8 inch pilot hole, we upgrade to a 5/16. It's important, this 5/16 is only used on these top four. The rest of them will be a different size. That's why I'm doing them in order. So basically, find your pilot hole and go in with the 5/16. And do that down the line and just clean up your plastic when you're done. Okay, we're going to switch back to the 3 millimeter or 1/8 inch, and we're just going to go around. They pretty much just follow where we're cutting out. So right down here, this is a circle. We'll do a center there, or a push pin, and then 3 mil, and there's one up here, and then they go along the bottom. You'll see them, like for example, right here, and there's some more on the other side, for a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now for this one, I flipped it over to make it a little bit easier, so I'm not trying to drill into the ground. We're back with our 1/8 inch or 3 millimeter and we put our push pin holes, and we're just going to drill this out the first time with a 3, and then I think we go to a 3/8, or looks like 10 millimeter, but I don't have 10, so we're going with 3/8 after this. Okay, after we got our 3/8 bit installed and we've done our 3 millimeter or 1/8 pilot, we'll just hit it with the 3/8, and it should pretty much eat up that entire circle that they have marked. Just go in kind of slow, and then let the bit do its work. Just go down and hit the other 6. Wow, sitting here drilling this stuff out and look at that remarkable sunset. I don't know if you can really catch that on the film, but it's gorgeous. I think we're almost out of the woods here with all this drilling. There's one more piece we got to do, and if you look right there, there's a little dimple, and this is the side that faces the rear wheel well, and we'll push a push pin in there and hit that guy with a 3 millimeter or 1/8 inch. Alright, as you can see, we got our hole drilled there. We have these little nut holders. Basically the big hole goes on the outside and the small hole goes on the inside, and just like that it fits. That's why when we screw in, the other side will have something to thread into. We'll do that on this side and the other side after we finished our 1/8 inch hole. Okay, this is the new under spoiler here, and if we were facing it, I guess whatever side you have a single exhaust on, you'll see, I don't know if you can really see that or not, but there's a mark there and a mark here, and this is where you would drill and put in the cover to hide the fact that you don't have a second exhaust. It's 3 mil to 10 mil, or the 1/8 to the 3/8, and then you basically tape it in and put a couple of those push clips, the body clips or whatever, go in here. But we're not going to do that today because I do not have an I-4. Okay, so we have 4 more of these spring nuts, and on the new underbody spoiler, you'll see these 4 posts here, and they're almost kind of shaped like a V. In other words, the top is a little bit wider than the bottom. So what we'll need to do is take our V-springs and come in from the wider of the two with the big hole on the top, and just put these guys in. And I think, let's see, oops, kind of just loosely fit in there. On this side they reverse, so it goes like that. And geez, hopefully they stay in place. Might put a little bit of tape on there to hold them. Yeah, they're a little too loose, and I could see these falling out when you're trying to struggle and put this thing together. So I'm just taking a very small piece of tape, being careful not to cover the hole or anything, and just basically putting it there. And if we need to stick it in there, the screw in there, and wiggle it around, it'll break the tape loose, but at least for now, it'll hold these guys in place so they don't come falling out. Okay, now we've got our clip spring nuts in place. We're basically going to take an edge off of each one of these adhesive strips, just a little bit, get it started. And I like to use a blade because it's real hard to get it released. But once you do, just peel it back a little bit. We'll put some tape on it and we'll fold them over. I'm going to do them all the same way, so when I know when it's on there, I'll pull them and they all are going to go in the same direction, so there's no guessing. Okay, another thing I like to do when I get this tape here and I put it on, kind of fold it over a bit, but before you stick it on the other side, just fold your little flap. That way you're not fighting and kicking to get the whole piece off. You can easily just grab it from the edge there and pull it up and go. So I think that looks like we got all of them here. Though we did wipe it down earlier, we've done a bunch of drilling and handling of this thing, so we're going to wipe the area down one more time with isopropyl alcohol, and I think we're ready to stick this guy in. So wipe it down real good so you get good adhesion. Okay, I've got my bumper upside down, Now I'm going to grab my underspoiler, which is also upside down. Try to figure out how this thing fits. I think I got it upside down here. Say something like this. We need to fit. There's a couple of male zip tie looking things. You can see this one over here. It needs to fit in the holes we drilled. It's going to be a bit of a bear to do single-handed. There it goes. So what we'll do is slowly reach in the back pocket, just hold them on there. That way we can come over here, get this guy in. Reach in the back pocket. Just get them tight. Get them to where it's not flopping around. And careful of these little spring clips over here, because it looks like the way it fits, it kind of sandwiches it. And it's starting to look pretty good. As you can see, there's a little bit of a gap right here. It comes with these flange nut and these bolts. Basically, you got a little spacer that you put the one metal inside the plastic and kind of shove that through there, and it'll kind of fit. And you go like that, and then you put the nut on the inside. We'll just get everything kind of loosey-goosey here and repeat this step on the other side. After we get the collars and the bolts with the nut in, things start to line up a little better. Here we've got body clips. You just smash these through. This is where we drilled a hole earlier, and man, it's tight. But we'll just go down the line, push them in, get them all kind of loose in there, and then push them in and lock them in place. So I went ahead and flipped the bumper back over, and you remember those spring nuts we put on the new underbody spoiler with the tape on them? You should be able to see them right through there. I'm just going to put these one screw with one washer, self-tapping, and put all four of them in there, and we'll probably just do them hand tight. I don't want to strip these or anything. Now we got the 4 body clips in and the 4 screws in. We're going to go ahead and tighten this down. I think we'll probably let's get it as tight as possible, and then we'll tighten these guys down too, and repeat that on the other side. For this guy, we'll just use a 10 mil, same as before. I think you can just hold the nut on the bottom. You don't have to get it crazy tight. You just want to crush it down to that collar. And that's probably good. Okay, so we got everything nice and tight again, and went around, double checked everything. We are at the point where we're ready to put this guy back on. It's basically the reverse of the way we did it before. I'll pick it up, try to get it hooked on these guys first, make the attachment for the light, and then go around and hit the clips and get it kind of held in place, and we can take a breather. Well, that did take a little work to kind of get it aligned right. Basically start at the front, and there's a couple little fins like right here and right above the brake lights. You got to slide it right in there, and then go around the wheel wells, and you kind of got to tug it and jerk it around, get it hooked up, and then all of a sudden, bam, everything starts lining up. So Might be a little easier with 2 people, but we got it running. So you remember these guys. It's a little 10mm bolt. Just and get them started. Put these guys in. Tighten it down, not too tight, and then put your little clip back in here somehow. There he goes. And do the same on the other side. Next, from underneath, we reuse the existing body clips. I found out one of the reasons I was having to fight so much. These flaps are supposed to be on the bottom of this bracket, and this one was actually on top. You can see where it rubbed. So if you're having trouble lining it up, check on that. But you can easily pull it back and put it back into place. Okay, over here in the rear wheel well, we're going to reuse. That was one of these flat tip on the top, followed by this guy's with the washer here and down here on the bottom. You really can't see it because of the shadow. And then this is the hole that we drilled and put one of those clips on, and that also takes one of these that's been provided. So one of these, first and third, and then the 2 screws with the washers, the second and fourth. Alright, home stretch, baby. Second to last step, we brilliantly put that little ear right there. And then we're just going to pull this up. Remember, we got them all going the same way. Pull that off there, and then put one hand inside and the other out. We're supposed to apply pressure for 30 seconds. That's pretty tiring, actually. Holding something in place for 30 seconds, opposing your force. It gets tired as you go around. But last step, we got this rubber wheel. It's going to give a good go around on the edge where the adhesive was, and make sure that the everything's sticking in place. And then it's beer time. This concludes another episode of Man Club. Today we installed the rear, part 2 of the 3-part series. Looking good. Had to do some cutting, had to do some drilling. It's all good though, you know. It's a little nerve-wracking when you cut a piece of your bumper out like this, but that is the point of no return. But it looks good. Take your time. Measure twice, cut once, as they say. Here's to you guys on a Sunday night. I will be returning with part 3 probably, I don't know, next weekend, because I don't feel like doing this shit after working 10 hours a day. So, until next time, keep them hanging.